What's up, y'all? This is part 2 of my story time about family. So, I had to do some self-care. I had to take a break. I mean, this is heavy. This is like literally my real life, and I cannot believe it. So, part 1, I ended it on when I broke my hip in the military. During the first or the last like couple weeks of school. Basic I'm referring to. When you have, and I need gum because my nerves is bad, okay? Talking about this shit has just, trying to stay calm, okay? Work with me, y'all. It's just so traumatic. So, and I'm trying to stop smacking because I hate watching people smacking their videos. And here I am doing it. Ugh. Okay. So, I broke my hip. And I had the option to either get out and get 100%, but I didn't know what that meant at the time. Like, they had just offered it to me, and nobody explained to me what that was. And I just knew I should cut that out, huh? I'm not gonna cut it out. I just knew that I did not want to go back home to Louisiana, like, no matter what. Like, I could not come back home, or I felt like I didn't want to, you know? So, to give y'all a little bit of background, I'm 17 at this time, and did I turn 18 yet? No, I was 17. It was time for me to graduate basic. Basic training is a 9-week program. At like week 7.5 or so, or 8, I believe, we were doing this last ruck march for graduation, and I wound up breaking my hip during that time. So my option was to get out of the Army, like with the injury, and just go home, stay in the Army and go to physical therapy or whatever like that. And I think that was it. So I chose to stay in the Army, and they sent me home for 30 days to decide what I wanted to do. So I still have physical therapy. I still have like these big old calcium pills. They gave me a whole bunch of stuff to take and do while I was home, and checking in with people and all that, because technically I was still in the military. So I came back, and for a couple of months they had me like in what's reception holding unit, RHU. And every day it was the same thing. It was just wake up, eat chow, clean your room, go to bed. Wake up, eat chow, clean your room, go to bed. And physical therapy, just for like 4 months straight, and it was making me insane. So finally, if you going back to the military, they're looking for some class of basic or whatnot that's going to be around the same time that you were in. So like if you were in week 7, they look for people that were in week 7. Well, unfortunately for me, during that time, all the cycles had started at the same time. So it was nobody in between. Like, all the cycles started with my 9-week cycle. So I stayed there for 4 months. No new people had come yet. And the only people that had started basic were all starting over from day 0. And that was my only option. So I had to start all the way over with day 0. And it was hell. So skip. After that, I go to AIT. And I have some other injuries in AIT, blah, 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 whatever. I'm just getting my ass, like, life is handing me a whole bunch of lemons and no sugar, okay, the whole time. So that happens, and then finally, I'm going to fast forward through all that because I can make a separate story time about that another time with more details. I'm trying to stay on track with the family thing, but I promise you all this makes sense with it all, right? So fast forward to when I get to my duty station a couple years later, from AIT, duty station, whatever. So I'm dating this guy, and I went to high school with this guy, and we decided we were going to get married. So we I'm trying, y'all, this is right off the head. I don't have nothing written down. I'm sorry. So we decided we were going to get married. Fast forward to a month of us planning this wedding, and this girl starts sending me snaps, like on Snapchat. And she's sending me like videos of him and her, and she's sending me them like doing the, you know, the bang bang with a whole lot of other people, like ORG wise, right? So I'm like, what the? So I hurry up and rush to go get checked at like the hospital, whatever, and I'm good. But obviously that relationship was over. Like, it was a mess. So during that time, we had a new guy come to our job or whatever, and I saw him We wound up hooking up. We wound up being together, right? But the problem was this guy was one of my superiors. So we wound up getting together, and he had a lot of stuff going on, like going through divorce, ex-wife, all this stuff, right? I didn't know because I had my own thing going on, and it's not like we immediately met and started dating. It literally was not like that at all. We hated each other. We just fell like in love with each other some kind of way. So we wound up dating, and one of my coworkers who used to be my homegirl started an investigation because I guess she liked him or something. But she went and told him that we were dating. And they told us that because we did not inform them that we were dating in a timely manner, that they were going to give us a 3-year suspension of service, pretty much a code on the bottom of our DD-214 saying we have to wait at least 3 years to go back. They let us finish out our contracts, and that was it. So we got out. We both got honorable conditions. But during that time, like all the stress and all of that, I had gotten pregnant, and I didn't want to be in trouble for being pregnant by him because you already know how the Army is. They messy, word spreads. I didn't want them to have no proof. Nobody had proof at that point, and they still didn't have proof. So I found out I was pregnant, and I miscarried. And when I miscarried, he had just came back from like a deployment right before that. So he had a lot of stuff going on, anxiety, PTSD, the whole nine. So he winds up going to a mental health hospital after we all had this big ass brawl with his ex-wife. And after that, I found out I'm pregnant. Like immediately after he goes, I found out I'm pregnant. And then I miscarried like a month later. So it was very, very traumatic. And I already was so tired of my job. Like them people treated me like absolute dog shit. Working my ass off and not getting shit for it. Like, they just giving me more work. I had become too important at my job. I'm trying to get promoted. I'm trying to get noticed. And they're noticing me like, damn, she gonna do all the work. Give it to her. And I'm not getting shit in return, right? So I started being like, fuck y'all. And it was at that point where tensions were high at work. I wasn't feeling them. They wasn't feeling me. And I didn't give a damn. So me and the dude started dating or whatever. And after the whole debacle of like them sending us to like these inpatient treatment centers because of our behaviors, quote unquote, because the Army wanted to get on top of mental health. So they had this thing called outpatient services or whatever for people who they think may have like PTSD, anxiety, whatever. So they sent me there. And during one of these times, like they sent me to like this new thing they started called hypnotherapy. And they put you in like this really comfortable like chair or whatever, and they do the acupuncture little things in your ears. It's supposed to help you sleep. It's supposed to help with anxiety, the whole nine. They had already put me on like sleep pills because I was so anxious. I had insomnia. And if you know anything about the Army, you don't really get a lot of sleep. That you just work, CQ, work. It was like that for me. So it was hard to sleep. I worked on ranges. I did a lot of stuff. So anyways, I'm telling y'all this for a reason, right? So skippity skip. I get out of the Army, and a month before I got out of the Army, my aunties had called me. So the aunties from the previous video, the last two that I grew up with, called me and was saying that my mom and Auntie Tony were getting into it about the house. Now, Auntie Tony had people that were coming over, running up bills on my mama. She wasn't helping pay nothing. They constantly fought about bills. Now, at this time, my mom is on disability. So she has a fixed income. And the only way that it would work in that household is if they all, split the bills or whatever. But that was not happening with her. And I think my aunt had moved. My youngest aunt, she had moved and went on with her life, So they was the last two there. So they're inviting, they're living their lives. If their friend want to come over, if their family want to come over, whatever. I don't really know at the real end of the day what their issue was, because I'm dealing with what I'm dealing with in the Army. I'm getting a call saying, oh, your mama bugging, she tripping, she da-da-da-da. I call my mom, and she like, stay out of it. This one got nothing to do with you. She know what the fuck, going on or whatever. So I'm like, everybody need a chill pill. We need to sit down, figure this thing out, okay? So by the time that all happens, like while I'm still in the Army, it gets to the point where they asses is in court. And when they go to court, my Aunt Tony has called extended family members, people that don't live there, people that don't know nothing. And she's the type of person that she lies a lot. but she'll go to get other people to back her in the lie, and you will never see it coming. You will never suspect that she done went and told these people this shit, right? So she came to court with buku fucking people on her behalf to like let her win the case or whatever, but she winds up losing the case. So the penalty for losing the case was that she was to get kicked out of the family home. My mom is the administrator of the home since my grandmother passed, and my auntie, left the responsibility with my mom, my oldest auntie. So she winds up getting kicked out of the house, but because of the protective order from them, being in there fighting, and she was attacking a person who was in a wheelchair, essentially, in a power chair that's disabled. And you are not disabled. So if you fight a disabled person and they say, hey, you fought me, there's legal ramifications to that, right? Regardless. So she winds up getting removed from the home. But in addition to her being removed from the home, her daughter, who I named Daisy in the previous story, was also removed from the home. And we never wanted it to go that far. Like, nobody ever wanted to involve the younger girls, because we thought that they should have a clean slate. They should be able to have family. They should be able to not have BS from everybody else, altering their lives. And that did not happen. That did not happen at all. But that was strike one, I believe. So when that happened, I said, we just need to have a meeting because it's too much going on. So I call my mom and I'm like, are you willing to have a meeting with them? Let's just set up something. I'm getting out of the Army. I'll be up there, the next week. And I'll make sure that we can all sit down and I'll play referee, whatever. So I call my aunts and I give them the same rundown, and they both agree. Now, 2 or 3 days before I was supposed to come down there, when I had got out of the Army, no, I think it happened before then. So around the time they went to court, I'm trying to get my timeline straight, y'all. By the time they went to court, and I went to the hypnotherapy for the mental health, outpatient clinic or whatever, I started to have, memories that I had suppressed, and, all that stuff just came right to the forefront of my head, and I, broke down, and I called my mom. Now, what I didn't know was that my mama had somebody in the car with her, who was my Auntie Sonia. Now, me and my Auntie Sonia, who was the third, she's the third after my mom. And I didn't know that she was in there. Me and my Auntie Sonia don't really get along that well. We stopped getting along way, way earlier than that over stupid, petty shit or whatever. But I had not had a close relationship with her at all. And I honestly did not see her as a good person. She's the bone collector in our family. She go tell people shit that other people done said, stir up mess, and then sit back and watch them fight. So nobody really, likes her that much. But it's a family home. You can't kick people out. So anyways, I get a phone call from my two aunties, Auntie Tony and Auntie Tanya. And they were like, oh, your Auntie Sonia said you said something so bad. She said you said something so fucked up. She said something real bad about you. And I'm like, what is it? What the fuck did she say about me? I'm defensive. And they're like, oh, we can't tell you. I should have known right then that it was going to be some bullshit. So, anyways, the day comes for me to go. And I get there, and the meeting was supposed to be at 8:30 that night. So I came into town the day before. I took my shower, I got dressed, and went out because it was homecoming. If you know anything about homecoming in Baton Rouge, you know that should be litty. So I'm out there with my best friend. My best friend, she was living on Southern campus, and she went to Southern at the time. So I already had somewhere to be. I shouldn't have left where I was, honestly, if I knew what was going to happen. So I get to the family home for this meeting. My mama asked, she'll be late for her own fucking funeral if we had a timer. She was not there on time, and she's always late for everything to this day. So everybody else is there. I walk in the door, and my Auntie Sonia is like, you don't see me sitting right here? And then she said, bitch. And I was like, here's the thing. When I grew up, it was beaten into me, literally. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Don't get out of line with nobody. I was still that sweet, timid, kid back home to the people in my family. I had never got a chance to reintroduce myself as an adult and stand up for myself against these people. I had never gotten to that point. I had been gone for so long and in and out. There's no opportunity to do so, if this makes sense, right? It's like going away to college and you come back and your parents still treating you like you ate. Like, bitch, I'm grown. You know, I never had that moment with them because I wasn't there. So it comes a point where my aunt is literally like attacking me, and she's saying I lied on her sister. Now, when my mom was in the car that day with her, all those months or whenever prior, I told her that during the hypnotherapy session that I remembered something. And I told my mom that my aunt was molesting me when I was a child. I didn't give her any details, but she lost her fucking mind. She wanted to do anything a parent would want to do if their child had told them something like that. But I asked her to not get herself in any legal trouble. Don't do anything stupid. Let me deal with it. I would go through the proper channels and do all these things. But I don't need you to get involved. I wanted her to keep her hands clean because my mom is a fucking hothead. So she told me that she would respect that. I said, please don't tell anybody, because this is, you know, between me and whomever else I choose to tell or get, you know, however this process is going to go for me. She did not respect that at all. She went and blabbed and ran her fucking mouth, told my auntie Sonia. So then we get to the meeting that I asked for them to go to. They never were going to do the meeting. They were always planning to attack me. And I didn't know that. They set me up, pretty much. So I get to the house, my auntie Sonia is yelling at me, saying I'm a lying bitch, and why would I lie on her sister and all that? And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I tell them the nitty gritty details of what happened. I told my aunt Sonia, who was there, my aunt Tony, and my aunt Tanya, who was there. My aunt Tanya, I noticed something really weird. Now, normally these people are very vocal and these are violent people, right? My family love to fight. My aunt Tanya, when I said it, and I said, this is my truth, I don't have to lie about this. That's literally what I said after I finished telling them all the details. She looked at the floor and a big ass tear just ran down her face. That's not like her at all. And then the aunt Tony, who again, she's, you know, tall, she's aggressive. She said, when I did that. So I told her, and I remembered the details, and I'm trying to, like, you know, give her the details of when she did it, who was there, like the whole nine. She got up and walked out of the house and started crying. And my auntie Sonia picked up a bar stool to hit me with it. And she said, you lied on my sister, bitch. Me and her start having words, and she picks up a bar stool. And I said, if you hit me with that bar stool, I'm going to fuck you up in here. And I looked her right in the eyes when I said it. So after that, I go get my suitcase and I leave. I get in my car and I'm ready to drive back to Oklahoma. Now, from Baton Rouge to Oklahoma is, I think, 10 hours. And I was doing that every 4 days. I'm young, you know, I'm doing that shit religiously. So I get in the car. I had not slept that whole day. I was tired. I was hungry. They ruined my trip. Like, this was some bullshit. So my mama calls me, like, 40 minutes to an hour later or whatever. And she's like, where you at? What happened? And I was like, fuck you. Now, she lied. Now, I thought that she was going to keep her word and not tell nobody what I had told her and have some fucking respect for me. And she was like, oh, I didn't tell nobody. Okay, so she was like, oh, I didn't tell nobody. I was in the car and you said it and I had the phone on Bluetooth and she heard it. That was a lie. She just didn't want to admit that she had betrayed me. So I said, fuck you, I don't want to talk to you again. And I told her she had her sister, because I'm thinking they all in cahoots. I'm like, and then she tried to hit me with a fucking bar stool. Fuck y'all. So she was like, a bar stool? So I hung up on her. I was like, I never want to talk to you again. Fuck you. And I didn't curse in front of my family or, you know, do anything like that. So that was very, like, insane. The way that, you know, for her to hear me be that way. So I get all the way back home and I'm like breaking down and I'm on the phone with my fiance at the time. And I didn't talk to them again. Like, he was still keeping my mama updated and I had no idea that he was telling her like I was okay or like if something was going on or whatever. I had no idea. But fast forward to, I think, the next year and a half or so, I get pregnant with our first child. And not only is it the first child, it's the first boy of our family. So I'm like, okay. And I was Christian at the time. So I had a mental health counselor who was Christian. It was Christian based. And she told me that excuse me, she told me that I should let my family be a part of my son's life and let them meet him, because I should forgive them the way God forgave and forgives me every day, right? So I'm like, okay, that's fine. I can do the right thing. So I waited until my baby is like 6, maybe 8 months or so before we traveled. And the whole time, like, this trip was coming up, stupid shit started happening. Like, I couldn't get a rental. I couldn't find clothes, like, that I was packing. I couldn't find his bottles. Like, me and my husband had got into it. And I told him, well, don't worry about it. Don't come. So he wasn't going on the trip. Like, it was a big fight. I don't even remember what it was about. But there were signs saying you should stay your fucking ass home. So anyways, I ignore all that. He gets me the rental. I get on the road with the baby. So we make it there. And I'm just sitting there, and I didn't tell my mom, like, during that whole time that I was not speaking to them, I told my mom, don't tell me anything about them. I'm just getting cool with you. I don't need no other people, in nothing with me. Leave me the fuck alone. So I knew nothing about them. I didn't speak to them. And she would always say, oh, do you want me to tell them that you're pregnant? I was like, no. So when I got to my mom's house, she had moved from the family home to her husband's house. So I went over there. They didn't even know I was there. So I'm at my mom's husband's house with her, and she's like, is it okay for me to call them and let them know that, your baby's here? And I'm like, okay, I'm here. It's nothing they can do to him, while I'm here. So that's fine. So mind you, I hadn't seen them in all this time. The last time we saw each other, it was a big old blow up, that situation. It went from that to me seeing you years later. So I'm just on this, like, we can get past that. It's cool. I got my son. Like, I'm thinking this is going to start everything anew, right? So my head is in the clouds. When they come there, they walk right past me, because my baby was on the bed, right past me, and go pick up my baby and play with him like I'm not there. I was like, okay, that's weird. So that happens. And then my auntie Tony was like, do you have my phone number? You should get my phone number, whatever. I did not have a phone number. I switched phone numbers and deleted, everybody else out of my phone. I lived with my husband's family, like, before that or whatever. I had started, living with them, and I wasn't talking to my family at all. So it was no reason for me to have none of y'all's number. The only person number I had was my mama's. So we all started talking and, like, trying to get back to a point where we are over this big hurdle that has happened in our family, right? So I found out that night that my Aunt Tony was about to graduate college. Now, I hadn't planned to go to no graduation. It just so happened I was there the same weekend. I had no plans of going anywhere. So I was thinking, okay, maybe I need to go get something to wear or something like that, figure something out, whatever. So before I went across town to go get some za from one of my, somebody I went to high school with, right? One of my homeboys. So I get the za, whatever, and I put it in the car. I'm in a rental. I got a baby that's asleep. And I got za in the car. And I'm out of state. I'm in Louisiana. I live in Texas. I'm in Louisiana right now. So those are not good conditions to get caught with anything illicit in your car with a kid. Y'all, why the fuck, as soon as I left the dude's, the trap spot, I get in a car accident. I'm turning down this road, and this truck is in front of me. We're turning, and he stops, like, right in front of me, and the car goes right under, like, the back of the truck. And it's a pickup truck. We in this little ass, like, Avion or something like that. So I get out, I talk to the man. The baby just slept through the whole thing. He's still asleep. And I'm talking to the man. I'm like, okay, let's just exchange, insurance information. We don't got to call no cops. And I'm fucked up. Like, I'm hurting. My adrenaline is high, but I don't want to go to jail. So I didn't want to call the cops and nothing like that. So anyways, I'm calling my mama. I'm calling, like, my other auntie. Nobody's picking up. So now I'm like, what the fuck going on? And I didn't think that everybody was preparing for this graduation. Like, they may be busy, but nobody was answering for me. So my last resort I had was to go to the family house and see if my auntie Tanya was going to be there, because her and her old man was there. And she loves babies. So I'm like, okay, I know she's going to be, good with my child or whatever. She loves kids, whatever. So I'm driving back to the house, and I get there, and when I'm thinking she gonna be there, she not there. Auntie Tony is there. And Auntie Tony is like, when I asked her where Auntie Tony was, she was like, oh, she went downtown real quick to go do something. I'm like, you think you know where she'll be back? So at this point, the car is fucked up. I got the loud in the car. Baby's still asleep. I'm hurting at this point. Like, the adrenaline is running off. I'm hurting. I know something is wrong from the car wreck because I'm short and I sit right under the steering wheel. Like, I'm 5 feet. So I'm like, okay, I need to go get some medical attention. And we're sitting there for like another 2 hours waiting for my aunt and her boyfriend to come back, but they never show up. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just leave him right here. He's asleep. I'm gonna leave him on the table because he was in the car seat. I'm gonna leave him right here on the countertop, and I'm gonna FaceTime you just to make sure he's okay and everything like that. So I FaceTime her. I get in the car to go get checked out at the urgent care. I leave the Zah in the house. I don't leave it in the car. And I get halfway down the road. Now, this was back in 2018. So they didn't have that feature where if you're on FaceTime, you could take a phone call and have like the picture in the corner or whatever. That didn't exist then. So I'm driving down the road. I'm looking at my baby on FaceTime. And my mama calls me back. And it disconnects the FaceTime call where I can't see her and my child anymore. This was my abuser. Yes. So my mom picks up the phone. I'm like, can you please look at my baby? Can you please look at my baby? Okay, let me take my damn water break. Allergies is kicking my ass. So my mom, I don't know what she had going on that day, but this is how my mama do, y'all. And it pisses me off so bad. She picked up the phone and she's like, what's going on? I'm like, can you go pick up my baby, please? I left my baby over there. I had a car accident. Wait, what? Wow, where? She just asking all these questions. I'm like, we wasting precious time, bro. Like, just go over there and get my son. And she like, why don't you just turn around and go get him? Wasn't both y'all in the accident? You need to get the baby checked out too. So soon as I get to the fucking urgent care and walk in and fill out the forms, I gotta get back in the car, go back home. And she way across town, her damn self. So I'm calling her. I'm calling the auntie back. She ain't answer. Finally, she answers the phone. And I don't remember what happened after that, but I was like literally down the street, so it didn't even matter when she answered the phone, right? So I get back there, and my mama is there with the baby. Now, I don't know what happened in between that time that I was not there. But when I opened the door and got in there, she said, oh, I didn't touch him. I didn't touch him. I just gave him some food because he's teething and he woke up like fussy, you know? So I'm like, okay, whatever. After all that, I think the graduation was like the next day or something like that. So, or maybe that night. I don't really like, I don't remember if it was that night or the next night, but the graduation had come. I show up to the graduation, right? And my auntie, I don't remember if it was at like back at my grandma's house or whatever, but she was like, yeah, I need everybody to be there, even my fucking haters. Like, she popping her shit, and I'm like, is she saying it about me? Like, you know? And in the end, she was. But we get to the graduation. Now, I was a family favorite. Everybody in my family loved me, okay? I was a favorite cousin, like, all of that. And when I got there, I seen some of my family members and shit. I got a newborn baby. I'm by myself. They didn't look at me. They didn't speak to me. They didn't say shit to me. So I'm like, that's weird. That is so fucking weird, you know? But anyways, I clocked it. So after all that happens, the graduation happens, my son is a breastfed baby. So he like had an accident on me. Like, his diaper had opened and he pooped on me. So me and my mama took him to the restroom. We was trying to clean up, but it just wasn't helping. So we decided to peace out early. So we left early. And I think the next day I was leaving because I was only going to do 3 days there. So I'm getting ready to go the next day. And I go over to my grandma's house because my other auntie is there to like tell them goodbye and all that, you know. And when I came in the house, my auntie Tony takes my baby out of my arms and gives my baby to her girlfriend at the time. Now, I'm going to give y'all some backstory on this girlfriend. A couple years prior, before I even had my baby, when I was in the Army, I came to visit for a 4-day weekend. And I was friends with her kids, her 2 kids that I mentioned in the earlier video. And I had to wash laundry because I had stayed there 4 days or whatever. I needed to wash my clothes, make sure it was clean before I went back because I didn't feel like doing all that. And the only person who house I could go wash my clothes at, and she asked me to like do a braid down on her hair or whatever, and I used to do hair. So I'm thinking I could get a 2-for-1. I could wash my clothes while I'm braiding her hair. I'll be done, get on the road. So I would go over there, and she opened the door or whatever, and she's like, she started talking to me. She was like, can I tell you something? And I'm like, yeah, I'm not thinking that. So I'm braiding her hair, and she pulls out her phone. She's like, oh, your auntie been beating me up, and she like, beats my ass, and I'm scared. And I'm like, what the fuck? And she turns her phone over, like, like this, and shows me pictures of her, like, with busted lips and, like, black eyes and, like, scratches on her and shit like that. So I'm like, you thought about leaving? And she was like, yeah, but I'm scared she's gonna find me. I said, where you want to live? And she said, Houston. I said, go to Houston then. So that happens, and I'm like, yeah, she be doing shit like that. Like, you're not the first girlfriend, that she done that to, which is true. We done been through this time and time again, like, with our families getting involved with everybody's issues with their boyfriends and shit. That's not new. So I was like, just leave, make sure you get somewhere safe. Don't tell nobody you leaving, save your money, whatever. And I'm like, the fuck? So she goes back and tells my auntie what I said. So she calls my mom and is like, tell her to stay the fuck out of my business, blah, 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 blah. Whatever. So this is the girlfriend. I hadn't seen her since that ordeal. And when she gave her my baby, I was like, give me my baby. And she looking at me like this, holding my baby. Like I did something to her. So that happens, right? And I get on the road, and I'm like, that was the weirdest fucking trip ever. It was just so emotional for me. It was so all over the place. And fast forward, I think I had my daughter the very next year in 2019. And I was trying to plan, like, my birth experience or whatever like that. And again, I was like talking to them, but for some reason we all fell out, and I don't remember exactly what it was. Like, we stopped texting and everything. So now the relationship is back in, like, my mama is the middle. They asking her to talk to me, and I'm talking to them through her type shit. But I had got tired of that. I'm like, look, I'm pregnant. This shit is stressful. I don't want them, at the hospital, whatever, fuck it. So we all, kind of get into it about that too. And I'm like, y'all not invited to the hospital. And my mama tells me they said they was going to come anyway. So now I'm losing my shit. Like, no, you're not going to keep disrespecting me and asking my mama stuff about me when you could just ask me. So all of us had gotten into it about that as well. So now my two aunts fall out. Now they do this thing. They're known for doing this thing where they fall out. They're sisters, right? They fall out, and then they go tell other people shit about each other, and then get back cool, and then talk about the people who they told shit about each other to. Like, they gang up on you, like you did them something. So my mama was like, hey, stay out of that shit. Whatever they got going on, you know how they do. And I'm like, oh, well, no, things have changed, They did the same shit. So this time, my auntie Tanya calls me, and she's like, oh, I gotta tell you something. Me and your auntie done fell out. Like, I gotta tell you what she said and what she did to you. And I'm like, what are we talking about? And she was like, oh, that time when you brought your baby over there, she was FaceTiming and calling people and got pictures and videos of your baby, telling people that you asked her to babysit your child, and you lying on her, because if she really did that to you, you wouldn't have left your baby with her. She been telling people that I just dropped him off. Was like, yeah, you can babysit. That was strike one. Strike two, in that phone call, my auntie Tanya tells me that not only had I been essayed, and she didn't speak up for me, she was essaying her too throughout her childhood. So I'm like, this bitch need to go to jail. I'm going to the police. And she's like, whoa, no, I don't know if we should do that. I don't know. I think that's too far. I'm like, that's not too far. You're the second person to say, that this happened. And she's like terrorizing us at this point. No, I'm not going for that shit. So she didn't want me to go to the cops, but I did anyway. So I called the Baton Rouge Police Department to file a report, and they're like, gotta come in person. I was like, fuck, okay. I live 5.5 hours away. I'm going to have to go and file this police report in person. So I had to make time to go. I went, I think, a couple days, maybe a week at most later to file the report. So now, from that phone call that I had with my auntie Tanya, she name dropped some other people that possibly have known or have heard. So my auntie Tony, and I guess her too, have been talking shit about me to our family members, saying that I was lying, I was making it up, and I was crazy. They don't know what's wrong with me. I'm crazy because of the army. I'm like, what? Now, my auntie Tony had been talking to my mom, and my mom told her that I was going through some stuff in the army and she wants them to leave me alone. I'm already stressed out or whatever. She used that to go tell people, yeah, because Charisma's mom said she crazy. My mom was like, I ain't never say no shit like that. So now, skippity skip. After they have Mad Day, and I go to the police department and I filed a report that day, right? So I'm arguing with people that were family friends to us or whatever, and I'm checking them like, hey, have you heard anything about me? Like, anything, somebody saying I was crazy, whatever, you heard what's going on? Yeah, we heard what's going on. And I was getting that over and over and over and over again. And people was telling me shit that she had said, because I didn't tell nobody. I was like embarrassed. Who wants somebody to know that? That's fucking gross, you know? So everybody had been running their own rumor mill gossip hour, except me, because I ain't tell nobody, because I didn't live there. I don't have no friends that know y'all, you know? So I was pissed. I was pissed with everybody. So I was on a warpath. And I'm telling people, I'm Facebook, everything. Fuck you. You got me fucked up. You fake as fuck. You been in my face, acting like you don't know this bitch calling me crazy and you ain't saying nothing. So I'm getting on everybody's ass. Now, the girlfriend before, the current girlfriend that she had with the 2 kids, the previous girlfriend had the 2 little girls, right? Me and her was still texting and communicating like on a regular basis. And I get to her and I'm like, hey, you heard anything about this? And she was like, yeah, I heard about it. I don't want to be in. I said, you already in it because you picked the side and you didn't pick my side. You didn't ask me what happened to me or nothing. You just jumped on the bandwagon. How was that a true friend? How was that like cool to do? Y'all, she cussed me out. She said I was R word. She said it's not her fault that I was the word that starts with R and ends with did. And that I have been id since I was a kid. I said, why you calling people that? You need to worry about why it's another person saying that she did it to them too. And you got 2 girls. You need to be asking your kids too, bitch. Since you want to talk about somebody. So me and her had that big falling out or whatever. And I think a little bit after that, I had like extended family members like that I don't even talk to, hitting me up, asking me why I'm lying on her or if I'm okay, like checking on me or whatever and shit. And I'm like, why would anybody in their right mind do that? Why would you, if you didn't do anything to me, why did you go to people and tell them that I'm crazy and lying and making up shit on you if you didn't do nothing? So I said, since you want to run your motherfucking mouth and use my kid in pictures and try to make me look stupid, take a polygraph test. Matter of fact, I found an office that will give you one, and I sent it to her. I said, they got a branch out there where you at, and they got a branch out here where I'm at. When you take yours, I'm going to take mine. And let's see who's telling the fucking truth. She refused to take the test and called Auntie Tanya and yelled at her about her being the only one that I asked to take the test. And they got into it again. Auntie Tanya calls me and was like, yeah, we got into it because she didn't want to take the test. I said, why don't you take the fucking test? Just take the fucking test. So now that's their big, issue with each other. And I had already paid for her to just go to the place and submit herself to the test. She refused, so I lost the money. So now, the next thing that I did was I called Judge Mathis so it'll be free this time. Now, during this time, the case is still open and going on. And she refused to go to Judge Mathis. So I'm like, okay, she just really, she's not going to go or whatever. Because she knows she did some fucked up shit. So, and also, when we were talking, like, after I had brought my baby from down there, before we fell out, like, in between that time of then and me having my daughter, she called me, telling me something. Well, I'm sorry for whatever you saying I did to you. My therapist says I don't really remember very well. And I said, I forgive you. You know, you was a kid. It's whatever. Right? I didn't hold that. Oh, no. I didn't hold that over her head or nothing like that because I had went to school for psychology. During that time, I was literally in college, about to graduate. And I picked psychology for the home, like how I grew up, so I could understand people more and help other people avoid that or know what to look for, whatever. That had become a passion of mine. So I was not on no, like vindictive shit or nothing like that. So that happened then. Scoot up to me confronting her about the polygraph that she refused to take. Okay, I needed a break. So she refused to respond to me or any of the messages I sent her. Then the detective called me and took my statement or whatever. The Special Victims Unit detective took my statement. And I didn't want to involve other people because, I don't know, I was embarrassed. I don't want to involve nobody but me and my auntie Tanya and, of course, Auntie Tony. So she goes to interview Auntie Tanya. Now, at that time, I had just gotten into it with my auntie's ex-girlfriend. The ex-girlfriend calls Auntie Tanya and confronts her about it. And Auntie Tanya calls me and blows up on me. Why the fuck you telling my business? Whatever going on between y'all, get me the fuck out of it. So I blocked her. I hadn't talked to her since then. By that time, the detective was already, like, asking for statements. So she refused to testify. She refused to have her testimony recorded. It was a 2-part testimony. One of them was when you talk to the detective and it's not recorded, like to be used for evidence. And the second one is recorded to be used as evidence in court. She refused to have it recorded. And as a result, they have picked up my other auntie. The detective told me they picked up Auntie Tony for questioning and they had to let her go because there was no evidence. So they said if you get any new evidence, call back, update them or whatever. So I was pissed, of course. You did all that. And you didn't think about me yet again. You had time after time to do right by me, and y'all still refuse to do so. And I don't get it. So I made a Facebook post like a couple months later, and I tagged everybody that was involved in it. I told people that she was lying on me, and I wanted to clear the air. I'm tired of this bullshit. People treating me, fucked up or whatever. Fuck y'all. Pretty much that was what the post said in the gist. And heads began to roll, and I did not care. But at that time, I had my own business, so I deleted the post. Like, I think the next day or two or whatever, and started, business as usual. So after that, time goes on, and I'm gonna skip y'all up to current day. So my mom gets sick a couple months ago. She had this routine procedure, and it goes bad, and she almost DIEs. Yeah, during the procedure. And fast forward, I done moved all the way up here to Colorado. I done bought a house. Like, I just had another baby. I had preeclampsia after the baby. I almost DIE'd. So traveling is not high on my list right now. 2 other kids, like, I'm busy. My husband's disabled. I'm disabled. I'm a full-time college student. I really didn't have time to be there for her or try to travel with the whole, like, planes, crashing in Denver and all that. I ain't trying to risk it. So I get a phone call from one of my other aunties that's not involved in this. This is my mama's side, because she has a different dad from the last 2. The last 2 have the same dad. The middle 2 have the same dad. The first daughter has a different dad. So this is her daddy side of the family, and she's a nurse. So she was looking after my mom, and she calls me and was like, yeah, and I could hear my mom, like, because she was under anesthesia, don't tell her, don't wait, I'm like, Mama, be quiet. So I'm letting my auntie give me the rundown. She's telling me, like, how bad it went, and my mama was in ICU and all that. So I'm, like, panicking, So that happens, and then the next day, I call again, and she's getting ready to go home from staying in the ICU, and my auntie Tony and her daughter Daisy now is 19. they were at my grandmother's house taking care of my mom, so she had left ICU, and a couple other people too were there taking care of her. And I said, you know what, we should just have a sit down. Everybody did have a sit down and talk, because that really spooked me. And the last thing I want to do is try to plan a funeral with people who I don't get along with, or I don't be included. I miss my own mom's funeral, or we fight at the funeral. Like, I wanted us to squash all of our drama. That really put, like, what's important into perspective for me. So I really was on, like, I don't want no more bad blood between us. We need to come together. We need to stop all this bullshit, you know? So I told my mom, I'm like, can you just give everybody my number and let them call me, because I would like to speak to them. And I told my auntie's daughter, I'm like, can you tell your mom thank you for standing in, and I thank both of y'all for being there when I couldn't be there. So that was that, right? Now, I also did not want to bother my mom. Like, if she needed something, like for somebody to go grocery shopping or something, I could give them the money. Like, I just didn't want to bother her. I wanted her to rest. But I never got any phone calls. I didn't get a text. I didn't get anything. But every time I'm calling my mom and FaceTiming with her, my aunt's in the back, like, yeah, she doing this and she doing that, and she need to be eating this. And, like, it kept going on. So, like, 2 weeks later, she still didn't call me. I'm like, Mama, did you give her my number? Like, what did she say? What's going on? Like, do she not want to, like, squash this with me? And she's like, I don't know. I did what you asked me to do. So I didn't know what was going on. And I started to feel like, what the fuck, So I forgot. So my mom has this health scare at the end of April. In January, I make a TikTok series telling y'all everything that I said over these first 2 videos, right? And after my mama had got sick, so that had been up since January. The TikTok series been up since January. When I got into it, when my mama fell sick, 2 to 3 weeks later, I got the new, like, TikTok Studio app or whatever for content creators, because I'm starting to be more consistent over there, right? I go to look at the analytics, and I see that somebody was spamming my comments on the series video. Now, TikTok is like a different breed. I don't get, like, no hate or nothing like that on TikTok. So I'm like, I had some comments, and it was like, strike down for hate speech, strike down for hate speech, strike down for hate speech. So I'm like, what the hell? I look, and it is one of my cousin's profiles, Auntie Sonia's daughter. Now, again, I told y'all I have, like, 0 relationship with Auntie Sonia and 0 relationship with her child. I have not seen them since very, very, very long ago, before I even went to the Army. I have not seen them since. So one of the comments was not struck down, and TikTok allowed them to put it up. Now, I hadn't seen it until I downloaded this new app, and it said liar. I'm like, the fuck? So I responded back in the video, and I said, first of all, bitch, don't get on my page talking about no motherfucking liar, because I get real sensitive about people trying to make me out to be a liar when I'm too honest. I tell all my motherfucking business. I don't care about nothing. Because I feel like if you honest and you're truthful, what the fuck else can you do? I tell the truth. A lot of people around me like to be sparing with what they say and be lying about shit and then omitting shit. I don't do that. I tell the truth. So that triggers me, because I go out of my way to tell the fucking truth, because I'm so tired of people not telling the fucking truth. That shit bothers me, bro. Okay. So I cuss her out on a TikTok video, right? And the next day, I go to get my hair done. And when I'm in the sink getting my hair washed, my mama calls me. Because in the video, I said, anybody who want to call me a fucking liar got my number. So don't comment on my page. Because I'm still not thinking that it's her. Because you don't know shit about me. Obviously, you can't even speak on me. So I know it's from somebody else, So my mama says that my cousin who I cussed out called her and said she wanted to speak to me. And she was like, is it okay if I give her your number? I said, absolutely. Because again, I don't have no problem getting people together and telling the truth. So I get a phone call, not from the little cousin, not from the other cousin, but from Daisy, from Auntie Tony's daughter. Now, me and her have been close. The reason that we kind of were not close anymore, because like when I made that Facebook post, I blocked her on Facebook because I didn't want her to see that. And also, when I like sent her a phone, I don't remember how old she was, but I paid like $300 to pay off my contract on my cell phone just so she would have one, because I had heard that she was begging for an iPhone and nobody will buy her one. So I'm like, that's fucked up. Y'all keep promising that girl, she asked and you won't get it for her. So I sent my phone to her, and when she got it, I never heard nothing back. No thank you, no fuck you, no nothing. And that hurt my feelings, because I just remember her being like a baby. I remember her being like a sister to me. I never had no problems with her at all. So, and we're like, I think 9-10 years apart. So I'm, way older than her. So anyways, she calls me and she's like, I just need to know what's going on. She already was like aggressive with me, right? Which I thought was strange. So I'm telling her the whole story, and I'm telling her like exactly what I have been saying. And she was like, I knew you was a liar. Y'all, why this girl mama told her that she raised me and that she had not been to jail, and that I was making it all up and I was lying, I'm crazy. And my own mama said I'm crazy because I got out of the army because I'm crazy. First of all, even if that was true, which it is not, here's the proof, babe. I've been married to the same man since then. It's called inappropriate relationships. But I thought that just threw me, like my mouth was ajar. And I could not believe that her mom had broke the code that we all set to keep them out of this. And instead of telling the truth, she lied and doubled down on it. And it hurt my feelings. I'm not gonna lie, it hurt my feelings so bad. So now we're arguing. And I'm telling her like, no, that's not true. I'm giving her times, dates, details, people, places. I'm going out of my way to prove to her that I am not lying. And I don't have to lie. I don't have no reason to do that. And she's just doubling down on not believing me. I'm crazy. I'm a liar. I'm disgusting. Like all types of shit like that. And it just always was mind-boggling to me for somebody to say, oh, no, you lying. First of all, you wasn't there. You can't tell somebody that somebody did not essay them or beat them up or anything. You have no right to tell somebody that just because you like the person. That is so low and fucked up. So low. It really broke me. Honestly, it broke my fucking heart. And the more we start arguing, the more I was like, okay, you too old to be arguing with this girl. She's like just turned 19. Let it go, leave it alone. I said, cool, whatever. So now she's like, oh yeah, also I know you lying because my mama showed me a video of you saying you sorry. Now let's go back to what I said earlier. When I said she apologized to me, I apologized to her for how far it had gone and like the ripple it sent throughout the family, I was not expecting her to try. First, she was already recording and taking pictures and doing little fucked up shit like that to me. I would never do that to somebody. Ever. Ever. I don't have that on my heart or for me to be like, ooh, I got this for Mad Day. I'm going to keep this. That's so fucking weird to me, bro. And I done switched phones like 3 times. I wish you would have done it when I had the evidence, bitch, of you calling or doing any of that. But I'm not a fake-ass, weird-ass, clown-ass bitch like you. Anyways. So, she's like, oh, my mom got a recording and you apologized to her. I was like, what? I said, what did it say? She said, you was crying. I said, no, your mama apologized to me for essaying me. I didn't apologize to her for anything. And I'm like, oh, if I did apologize, it probably was because she apologized to me. Like, that's how I was raised. If somebody apologized to you, even when you don't feel like you did them something, you apologize so y'all move on. Nobody feel no way, right? You wouldn't feel good if you apologize to somebody and they don't apologize back to you. That's just courtesy to me. But she has been showing this to people. and saying that I said I'm sorry for lying on you and ruining your life. That's what she has been telling people. So when I pressed her, I'm like, okay, send me the video then. Or tell me what the video said. Well, it's a recording. I said, okay, send me the recording. And she goes, oh, well, she didn't let me listen to the whole thing. Because I asked her, what all did it say? She didn't let me listen to it. Okay, so send me the video. So now it's turned into, send me the video. Send me the video, you know? Like on some baddie shit. Send me the video. So I'm waiting. No video. I'ma send it. Send me the video. No video. So now I know you full of shit, right? So I'm pissed off with the whole thing, and I'm like, predictable. Like, she do fucked up shit like this, duh. So now, fast forward, we get off the phone, and I call my mama. And when I called my mama, the other cousin had called me earlier, and I missed the call while I was screaming with her. So I called her back, and she's like, I don't really know what's going on. I just know what I heard, and I want to hear your story. Y'all know that's the first person to ever fucking ask me that? Nobody ever asked me what happened. They all just picked a side and stuck to it. Nobody tried to check on me. Nobody asked me a damn thing. Nobody even gave a fuck about me at all, which is to be expected. I've been feeling like that since my grandma passed. Don't nobody give a fuck about me, and that's okay. So, I told them what was going on, and I feel like I shouldn't have even done that because, for number one, I'm still using the fake names, Auntie Sonia. Bitch, you got me all the way fucked up. While you talking about who's a liar, because she said when we did talk on the phone, she said it was her commenting that on the page. And she told her daughter she never tried to hit me with a bar stool. And I said, that's crazy you tried to hit me with that bar stool. You was bugging. Like, I said that when we was on the phone. Bitch, you got me fucked up. Okay? And anybody who is going to sit there and keep going with this narrative that I'm lying to try to make yourself look better when you ain't shit has me fucked up. Anybody who ever lied on my name, who played with me, you sit up there and you kikied and ha-ha and talk shit about me, you never asked me how I was. You never gave a fuck. So don't try to get in my business now or get on my page and try to play. Because if you want to play, I could take it there. If you want to play, I know some shit about you too. Just know I'm dead ass serious. And I will lay your shit out. And can't no video help you with that one. Okay? So moving on. That shit pissed me off. But I still gave them the time of day to explain and express. I gave time, dates, all that. Still. And I heard nothing back. So I'm still texting in this text argument with my with my auntie's daughter. And I'm like, where's the video? Where's the video? So she's sending whole ass paragraphs calling me crazy and fucked up and I'm ruining the family. Her mama want to keep it together. She the only one want to keep this family together. Girl, you do not know your mama. Your mama is a crazy, like, your mom fucked up the whole family. I was like, my grandmother's dying wish was that you never were to meet. Like, y'all two were never supposed to know each other. She was like, why would you bring my grandma? You lying. Why you bring her? She just lost her fucking mind. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, most of this shit, I'm not the only person who was there. You could literally ask other people. And then she goes, no, I'm asking you. So you choose to attack me. Instead of using a fucking brain, instead of having a brain. And realizing that if somebody grapes somebody, they're not going to admit that they graped somebody. Use your fucking head, bro. Like, what? That shit really, really, really broke me. It really broke me. It was a difference in people lying on me and I didn't know about it versus this narrative and this rumor that had been going around and people acting like they don't know nothing going on, kicking in your face. That shit is wild. Okay, so after the text war, during the text war, she brings up, oh yeah, and my mama told me you've been ducking that polygraph all this time. And I go, no, babe, I was never ducking the polygraph. Your mother is the one who was ducking the polygraph. She's the one lying to you. I don't have a reason to lie to you. Ain't nobody gonna whip my ass. And she gonna text me back. That's what you think. Bring it, bitch. You think I'm scared of you or any of you motherfuckers? I'm not scared of nobody. And that's the problem. It's like, just because I'm not on here with no rah-rah and I never said nothing to the point of like threatening, which I would never do, That you think I'm soft, or because I left home as a kid and y'all think I'm still that young kid, I'm supposed to have some fear for you? No, because I'm not the only one. I'm the one of the only ones that's not mentally ill. Like, I know that this is a trauma response. I know that this is like misplaced anger, repressed, all this stuff. And because I don't take the bait, I'm the bad guy. Bet. So the polygraph thing really struck me, and I said, I'm going to take a polygraph, and I'm going to give you the results, and I'm going to send them to my mama so she can send them to everybody. No, I need you to send it to everybody anyway, because I don't want nobody lying. Bet that up. I booked that appointment that fucking day. So the polygraph was a week ago. I take the polygraph, and I pay the money. Polygraphs are not free unless you go to Judge Mathis or it's court ordered or some shit like that. So I take the polygraph, and I pass it, and I send it to her. And she goes, oh, that shit ain't accurate. Oh, okay. No, I thought you said to take it and send it. That's what the fuck you said, right? At what point does a person prove themselves over and over and over before you realize you fucking delusional? Before you realize you're being had, you're being played and lied to. But you just won't take it from me. And I'm the scapegoat at this point. I'm the liar. I'm the crazy one. My story has not changed. Nothing I said has changed. Everybody knows your mother. Everybody knows the shit we done been through as a family. How fucking dare you come down on me like that? Well, I've never done anything to you for you to think this about me. At all. At all. That shit really, really fucks with me, man. It really fucks with me, bro. And like, my auntie Tanya, me and her recently started like trying to touch base again. And she was saying, oh, I'm going to take a polygraph. I'm going to do all that. Do y'all think she took a polygraph? No. So I'm the only one who took the polygraph. I'm the only one who's making any effort to do any of this yet again. And my cousin, like the one who I sent it to, and I said, are you going to apologize now? And she's like, if that's what you're waiting for, you can keep waiting. I ain't apologizing to no crazy lying bitch. And I said, you are a vile, disgusting excuse for a human being. And she texted me back. I still got the text up here. I'm going to insert some of this stuff at some point in the video. But she said, what's disgusting is I'm lying on her mama to her face. I'm lying on my grandma who's no longer with us. I'm lying about everything, and I'm just crazy, and I won't stop. And that's the end of the story. So I don't know if it'll ever end. I don't know what's going to come of it. I'm never going to back down because the truth is the truth, and it is what it is, whether you fucking like it or not. The bonnet is black, whether you want to believe it's yellow or pink. It's fucking black, and it will be black, and it's still black. No matter how you frame it, no matter how many people tell you, no, it's purple, it's black. And unfortunately, this is the truth. And I was a casualty. I'm not an enemy. I'm not somebody doing something to you. People done shit to me, and I didn't even realize I was getting fucked over. And when I decide to stand up for myself, I'm the bad guy. That really, really bothers me. And I can't sit here silently and keep taking this shit from people, especially people that are related to me by blood. You're not going to get away with it. I'm not going to let you keep stomping all over me like I am nothing, like I am nobody. That is fucking insane. Regardless, somebody should have reached out and said, how are you? What's going on? Are you okay? Nobody fucking had the decency to do that for me. Nobody. That is infuriating. And that's just what it is. And at the end of the day, I learned that strangers will care more about you and be kind to you and aren't cruel to you more than your own fucking family. People would rather take that shit to the grave. God forbid somebody get some balls and stand up and say, no, this shit is wrong. I'm not finna let this shit keep going on. Now I got to get crucified. I'm not taking it. I'm not. I done the polygraph. I done did what I need to do. Nobody else doing what they need to do. That ain't got shit to do with me. And that's it. I don't know what I'm gonna do. You know, I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't do nothing. I'll probably just go do some yoga or something and sit with my kids a little while and I don't know. I got schoolwork to do, so I'll get off of here. Thank y'all for watching.